It's like, welcome to the Mike Gombas interview. It's good. What do you like? What? She's good. Shit like that. Counterfeit Molly. I remember I always heard about counterfeit Molly. I never actually got to see counterfeit Molly. Again, how long were you guys around?
About 10 years.
10 years. Shit. When did you start out?
Well, when are we doing this now?
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Damn it. My ruse, my clever plan right there was the camera's already recording. it was like get you all comfortable and just like start natural conversation and like lead it right into it.
Oh.
That was working pretty good for a minute though. It had its moment.
No, we started playing as Counterfeit Molly. About what dates? I would say what year are we in?
2011, I think.
Probably 2000. Probably 2001 maybe.
Right on. Shit. Yeah, because I remember hearing about you guys like all the time and shit. And like I remember one time it was like one of those weird circumstances of your parents trying to be hip and understand what's going on in your life, and like show that they actually know what the current like culture barometer is. And they're like, oh, we just I heard that man, you like the Molly, the counterfeit Molly was flogging Molly. Is what it was about. Nothing against counterfeit Molly, mind you. It was more just like that. Incidents is like one of those things that always brought counterfeit Molly to mind was that memory of the similar names and then someone not quite knowing what's going on trying to tell you about something. So like I remember hearing about you guys exclusive for a while. Alright. Well, let's start the interview. We'll go from the beginning. Hello, Magazine33. This is your live, well, not live, recorded interview with local artist Mike Gombas. Mike Gombas, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
You don't actually have to talk to camera at any point in time during this. Actually, it's just going to be a conversation from here on out. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So, Mike, music. How did you become a musician? What was it that inspired you when you were young? A song, a movie, some relative? Anything you can think of.
Well, it was actually my friends playing music that kind of inspired me to want to play. I have a very distinct memory of my friend Mike was learning how to play guitar, and one of my friends would play drums, and they'd go into his, he had like a little garage that they had this drum kit set up in and stuff, and they would play music. And I didn't know how to play anything at the time, but I always kind of like became overly involved in their practice, which I don't know if that was annoying to them or what, but I would always listen like kind of quietly, and whenever they would take breaks, I would chime in. I was like, oh, that was really cool, maybe you could try this. So I probably was kind of overstepping my place a little bit, but they were friends once, so I didn't care.
Right. Alright, so how old were you about that?
I was probably 16.
16 or so? Right on. And when did you start playing an instrument?
Not too long after that. I mean, probably I started wanting to get my own guitar when I was 16, and I probably actually got it when I was 17. Started learning how to play. I took some lessons in the beginning.
What was your first band?
First band was Coriolis.
Coriolis.
And it's actually with two of the members of Counterfeit Molly. So I've only really been in one band.
It just changed from Coriolis to Counterfeit.
It grew. It
morphed.
Yeah. Originally, our drummer, Vince, he was a drummer and two guitar players, and no one wanted to sing. So we were just a two-guitar band with a drummer. But we wrote like, what we thought were like these epic songs, like long instrumental songs that like had some deep meaning or whatever. But it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
What kind of music was it?
I mean, it's kind of similar. I mean, to what we do now, or what we did. then. Just rock, you know, kind of focusing on, you know, riffs and melodic rock, I guess, but it's changed it. So.
Right on. Well, something I've noticed, I mean, from the first time that I saw you and actually started, when I started coming around everything and all the local music scene and everything, seeing you, one thing that I've noticed is very impressive, like, is you as a songwriter, as a lyricist, more than anything else. I mean, not to, like, you know, not too high praise here, but at the same time, it's like poetry. You're very, it flows very well. You sing it very well, it's very soulful, and at the same time is very meaningful and also well thought out, not so much like your average like rock lyrics you hear out on, you know, your various FM 99 or whatever type of station, you know, like Godsmack type shit and all that. But at what point in time in your songwriting or when you started playing music did your lyrics come into play? Was it like something where you like in Coriolis, were you like writing any of the lyrics or?
Well, when we first started jamming, it was pretty small time. Like we just wanted to play stuff. So no one wanted to sing. I certainly didn't want to sing. So for a while, it was just basically learning how to play together. You know, like, cause before I even tried to play with anybody, like I was kind of literally trapped in my room for a couple years, and you know, when you learn how to play an instrument, you don't play with anybody. You don't really focus on like being on beat or, you know, like in a standard time signature or whatever. So when you finally do play with a drummer who's keeping time, it's kind of weird. So in the beginning, it was just more fun to just kind of get together with my buddies.
More of the actual like sonic musical aspect, more of the instrument, less than the vocals.
Right, but you know, I guess I've always had that desire to write stuff. So I would kind of bring stuff to the practice or whatever, and be like, hey, I got this thing, and I'd have words and stuff, and be like, but I'm not singing it for this thing. And eventually they got tired of hearing it, and they were like, dude, you're singing it, and they kind of nominated me.
From there.
But no, for me the lyrics are like really important. Like I get turned off real easy when I listen to music, and I think the lyrics are bad or just stupid. So I try not to make mine stupid.
Right on. And yeah, like I said, definitely high praise there and not, you know, unwarranted, definitely. So I guess we'll kind of tie this into the songwriter circle.
Okay.
So like, what is the songwriter circle really? Like, how would you describe it to someone who had no idea? They just heard the words and they're like, okay, what the hell is that?
Well, I can't really take credit for the idea. I mean, actually, my friend Joanna Lynn, it was her idea. So I don't want, you know, it was her idea to have this. But I mean, people do songwriter circles all over. Basically, it's just we get, you know, original artists to come play, and you're kind of supposed to set up in like a semicircle or whatever. And it's basically a showcase for the songs you've written, and you can kind of like talk about what you were going for or whatever. It's nice because you can interact with the other musicians in the circle. And so we were doing that for a while at Winston's, and it was a good time, but Winston's is kind of small.
So songwriter circle is no longer?
Not there. I am wanting to get one started again, and I think I have a venue. I don't want to be like it's gonna happen, but I think
so we won't talk it. We won't speak evil upon this thing. No prophecies and whatnot. Okay, so songwriter circle. How many local artists during its so far, you know, is time? How many different local artists have kind of come into the circle?
Lots. I mean, it's kind of nice because I have the other gig at Chicho's where I have like a rotating lineup of guests. So I've gotten to play with lots of people. Lucky about that. I'd say probably anywhere between like 20 to 30 maybe different people. Not necessarily I've all played this song in a circle, but I played this.
Yeah. Right on, right on. How would you feel about the quality in general of we'll just go with the 7 cities, because like narrowing down to Virginia Beach or Norfolk or whatever, there's a lot of crossover, and it does really come down to just being the 7 cities, the Hampton Roads area. What would you say is the general quality, or is there any thing distinct that you've noticed about the artists that are performing around here?
I think there's a lot of, I guess I'm biased, but I think there's a lot of really good musicians in this area. There's a lot of shitty musicians in this area too. I mean, I think that because this area is so kind of weird for any kind of music scene, the fact that there are, so many really talented people kind of mixed in with all this cover bands, and it's kind of crazy to me. Like because this area is just so bad for a collective scene. The fact that there are so many talented people playing music is kind of crazy to me. I don't know, it's weird.
Despite the lack of cohesion in general, would you say there is a local music scene, something that's got potential?
I mean, I don't really think I wouldn't consider it a scene, personally.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of good people doing good music, and there's a little bit of a family kind of, I've noticed that there's little families that
kind of band families
support each other,
yeah.
and kind of which is nice, and that could be the beginnings of something, but I haven't seen it really develop past that.
Yeah, and I can see that too. It hasn't really got there in my opinion either, though I do have hopes for it, and the one thing, the characteristic that I can see of the fledgling scene, so to speak, would be how all these different bands of all these different genres of music that don't normally mix,
right.
How they still all come in together, and they all still try to make something of it, and everybody gives everybody else a hand. I mean, there is the backstabbing here and there. That's just kind of something that happens regardless, because no matter how many good people there are a whole lot of dicks out there too. So what would be your take on that, on the idea of the non-genre specific? Do you think that there is that bond, that family that could make something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that's awesome. I mean, I don't really think that my music necessarily is, all too similar to some of the bands that I really love. But I feel like I'm part of, a family in some way. So that's nice. The fact that there is that kind of openness, to other genres. It's nice.
Let's see. Now, in a larger scale, less local scene now, just music in general. What is your take on the state of music, the music industry today?
It's rough. I would say it's rough. That's my official answer. No, I mean, I don't know, it's such a weird animal, beast thing that's grown. If you look at the past and look at how things were even 20 years ago or whatever, 30 years ago, it was about music. Musicians, you put on a record or whatever and listen to it. Now it's not, it doesn't, the music is the least important part of being a recording artist these days, it seems. And
less with more is all show and no actual substance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just listening to live recordings of music bands, if you listen to bands that were playing in the 60s to a live recording and it's like they're all fucking good. But you listen to like, you know, 90% of the music that's popular and successful now, and you check out one of their live recordings or go see them live and they fucking suck. It's just the quality of the musicianship has dwindled, but they're somehow still like the only ones able to tap into the market and be successful.
Right on. Now, I've observed this, and I want to get your, whether you agree or not, or your opinion on it, but I've noticed throughout time with music, there are always cycles where it becomes more and more and more like mass appeal, the rise of pop. And this has happened like even throughout like the classical era and everything else. Like you can actually like look at this, in my opinion, and see where things become like just mass appeal, bread and circuses, just like entertainment, completely vapid, like meaningless, just entertainment. And then there, out of nowhere, there always comes a rise of something a little bit different, a different style of music comes in vogue, so to speak, but it does it while retaining actual meaning and actual substance. And you know, first, do you agree with me on that to any degree? And the second part to the question would be, do you think that maybe with this point where things have gotten where like you can't play in a band around here except unless you're in a cover band pretty much and make any kind of money or anything, do you think that we might be on the verge of another pseudo-renaissance of good music with meaning and substance?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It does seem like there are cycles. That was the first part of the question, right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on so long.
It does seem like there are waves of like periods where good music kind of becomes the mainstream for a little while, and then somehow it gets torn down and used up, and it kind of like fades into this other thing that's popular but not quite as good anymore. As far as do I think there's another chance that another good wave of music will come into the mainstream? I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I want to say, yeah, definitely it's going to happen, like, in a week, and, but I don't know, like, the way the whole industry is, it's just weird now. I can't even, I really don't even have hope for myself to be, a recording artist.
But you still do it.
I mean, I still do it because I love it.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what it's about ultimately, is that love. It's what it is about music that makes you feel a certain way. I mean, what is it about music for you, personally? What is it about music that's so special to you? What is it, like, try and describe the feeling, describe what it means.
It's kind of like, it's always there. It's sort of like instant release in a way for me. I guess when I was a kid, I used to draw pictures, and I'm gonna get somewhere, I think, hopefully. I used to like really be into like visual arts as a kid, and I used to draw pictures, and I'd go through all these phases, like, I'd get into like tanks or whatever, and I would draw tanks for, I don't know, 2 months or whatever, and I would draw every kind of tank there was, and now I know how to draw tanks, and then I would like get tired of tanks, and I'd move on to like, superheroes or whatever, stuff that kids draw. And I did that, and I'm still going somewhere.
Just go there.
But like, somewhere between getting older and like having to go to work and do stuff that I don't want to do, like my free time to do stuff that I want to do has gotten less and less. So like, I don't draw anymore because it takes too long. It's like a hassle for me. But like with music, I can pick up my guitar and I can just, it's just like I don't have to. It's not that I don't work at it, because I do work at it. I take it, you know, very seriously, and like I'm picky about it. But I guess that's part of the love part of it. You know, it doesn't feel like work because it's comforting. That sounds corny, but like.
What about corny? What do you do?
I guess when, you know, that stupid expression people say that have good jobs, you love your job, you never work a day in your life or whatever. It's sort of like that with music to me, because while I do work at it and stuff, it doesn't feel like it. Whereas other things become more tedious for me.
Right on. What's next for you? Are you? Is there any possibility of a Counterfeit Molly reunion, or are you trying to put together an album?
It's been weird getting into that question. When we stopped, well, when our drummer moved, that kind of like really it was for a loop, and you know, we were like, well, we're just gonna audition drummers and we're gonna keep going. And then we couldn't find anybody, and then we kind of got frustrated, and other things started happening in our individual lives and whatnot. So, you know, after 10 years of kind of like just, you know, this is what we do. We're in a band and we play shows. After we couldn't find someone to fill that piece, things kind of started falling apart, and then we didn't have any shows, and you know, people would ask me when's the band going to play again, and I'd be like, I don't know, someday soon, hopefully. And then when you answer that question like 500 times, I work at a grocery store, so people kind of like associate me with the band. You answer that question like 500 times, and the answer is always, I don't really have a band anymore. It kind of sucks a little bit. So, you know, yes, we all, you know, the four of us that are still around want to still make music in some way. I don't know about gigging and whatnot as much as we used to do. But, I mean, I've written tons of songs that I would love to put on a record.
I was like, good with that. Are you planning on doing, like, I mean, you got a lot of original material. Are you planning on doing anything, like, even like acoustic, like doing a little studio acoustic album?
Well, my guitar player Chris, who has the studio at his house, he and I have talked, and we want to. We have like we've probably got like 40 or so songs that have just been sitting around.
Songs.
So we have talked, and we do want to start recording again and seeing what comes of it. Stylistically, it might be kind of different because this has been over like 2 years now of playing mostly acoustic. So the songs have changed a little bit stylistically, but I always used to write even the heavy Counterfeit Molly songs that were written on acoustic for the most part. So yeah, there's a strong possibility that we're going to have another record soon.
Now, do you have any shows coming up in the near future?
Oh, I do cheap shows every Monday. I played last night.
And that's usually 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.?
I'm playing at Knuckleheads.
Shit. When are you doing that?
Federale got us the gig.
Even better, Mike and Mike.
He set it up. It's during the day on Sunday. The 31st.
That's
pretty odd, right?
Yeah, it was like, that's definitely not your standard Knuckleheads in the middle of the day. 2 acoustic artists. Oh, I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be good though.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
It'll be interesting.
Well, cool. I think that sums it up for now. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Gombas.
Thanks, man.
And Magazine33, signing off.